All right, we're going to talk about charts and some tricks. I know I've gone over chart reading in a blog post sometime this year. Go back and look for it. Probably the best place to look for it would be on my website. Go into Workbasket, and I'm pretty sure it's under the Seasons of Country Sophistication Spring Shawl. If you can't find it, message me, email me, drop a comment here below, and let me know, and I will get you the correct link. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here. I just want to show you a couple of tricks that I use and go over some basic chart reading things here. So on a chart, sometimes it will have the legend printed right with it. Not always. I don't always make sure that there's a legend on every page that I have a chart, especially in my larger shawl and lace pieces, because there could be like 15 charts in some of them, and having the same legend 15 times feels a little bit redundant. I like to have my legend on one page where I can either laminate it, put it in one of those plastic protective sleeves or something like that, and know that I have it no matter what chart I pick up. And as a designer, because I knit that way, I also put every single symbol from every chart into one legend. Then I know I've got everything I need. But for the sake of this video, this chart has its legend on its page. So each of these squares represents one stitch. Okay, so all these are knits. You see the numbers here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. They're all odd numbers. If there was even numbers, then I would have both the right side and the wrong side rows or rounds on this chart. But as it sits, I only have the right side rows. So all these are knit, as the legend right here says. These numbers here that feel like they're out in the middle of nowhere, they tell you how many knit stitches there are in a row. So there's 18 in each of these rows, but here you work 7 knit stitches before you work these stitches, and then you have 7 knit stitches afterwards. If these were further apart, in my charts, 5 stitches or more, it would have the number 5 right here. But because they're only 2 stitches apart, it just shows the 2 stitches. This is called annotating. I like it because it saves me from having to count. And if I have a pattern that I have bought and downloaded and it's not annotated, I will sit and annotate it myself before I get started knitting. Okay, because I am a left-hand knitter, I actually read the chart this direction on the right side row, and on the wrong side row I read it this direction. If you are a right-handed knitter, you want to work away from the numbers. Okay? So with the legend comes abbreviations. And if you don't know what they are, be sure and print your abbreviations list. So I have printed this one here. We have a YO. YO stands for yarn over. K2TOG, that is interesting. Actually, not even on this list. I need to add that to my abbreviations list. It is knit 2 together. Good patterns will also have abbreviations list, because while we have some standards in the industry, not absolutely everything is standard. Some charts, depending on the size of the item that is being knit and whether or not it has repeats in it, will have repeats within the chart. So I found this chart from one of my patterns that had repeats in both directions. So the blue lines here, their directions are right here. It says repeat the stitches between the blue line. So to begin with, you would knit these stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You would knit 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You would knit 8 over and over again. Just knit 8 until you have 4 stitches left, and you're going to knit the last 4. Now on a plain knit row, that just doesn't really matter, and it's just that. So let's go up to row 7. So to work row 7, you would knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, place a marker if you desire, knit 2 together, knit 4, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, place another marker, and then come back over here and start again with this knit 2, and keep working these stitches again and again and again until you actually have 5 stitches remaining, because this one's going to use 2, and then you have 3 more, but you made up your stitch with the yarn over. This is where lace can get tricky. Sometimes markers have to be shifted and moved. This is why charts are also helpful, because then you can figure out how many stitches you're supposed to have in between each set of markers, and figure out where you have one that is a stitch that is missing or one that is extra. So for example, in this one we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 stitches between the 2 markers because there's 8 boxes. However, we're going to use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one doesn't use 1, 7, 8. We're going to use 8 stitches. We're making 8 stitches. We're using 8 stitches. We're not increasing or decreasing the actual stitch count. We're just making a pattern. Now the red lines repeat the rows, or it could be rounds, between the red lines. So you work rows 1 through 12. Always work that the last even row unless the directions tell you otherwise. In this situation, I've never come across a pattern right here where you would go from 11 to 13. You would always work row 12 or round 12, whatever that looks like. And then you're going to work rows 13 through 28. Same thing again. Work that even number round or row. And then after you finish 28, you're going to come back down here and start again with 13. Work this over and over again for the number of times that it has indicated to you. Then you're going to come up here and start with row 29 and work rows 29 through 33, maybe 34. Some patterns have you end with 33 and do something different on 34. So be sure and pay attention to your chart and your instructions for what it's telling you right there. Now right here where it says repeat the rows between the red lines, it would generally tell you how many times. Repeat the rows between the red lines 8 times. Repeat the stitches between the blue lines 4 times. And it would coincide with the number of stitches that you have cast on to begin with and the number of rows that it has you wanting to make in the pattern. I've been doing charts for quite a while, and what I just told you about charts can apply not only to these kind of charts, but also to color work charts, cable charts, things like that. Know your symbols, know what they mean, learn what they mean, have your tools sitting there, like your legend. Make sure your legend is there so you know what your boxes mean, and make sure you have your list of abbreviation so you know what your legend is trying to tell you. And one of the ways that I like to keep all this stuff organized, and this one doesn't have a legend because I haven't made one yet, is this guy here. So this one's a big one. I think it comes in a size smaller and a size bigger. This one happens to be from Knitter's Pride, I do believe. Hang on, let me see if I can get it open. So it folds out, and you can see it's bigger than where I've got the camera set. Yes, it is from Knitter's Pride, right there. And it's got this snap thing. I have it set to sit open on a table where I am working on this particular lace piece. And these magnets, they're really strong. Okay, really strong magnets. They keep track of where I'm at in the pattern. I happen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charts going at one time for this particular piece. It's a fun piece. It's lace and it's little, but I'm really enjoying it. But this I absolutely love because it actually sits up properly, like straight up like this. No, you can't see that, but when you're sitting in a chair, you can see straight on what it is you need to knit. It doesn't have a legend because I know what they all mean and what I'm doing with them most of the time. This huge experiment, and it's been in the works for a couple of years. Maybe someday it'll get to be put out in the public. But so this little chart holder is one of my favorite things. I got it at my local yarn store. On the opposite side, it's got a zipper pouch where I have pens and stitch markers and things like that that I might need while I'm knitting and don't want to have to get up and just don't have them sitting right there on the table. So I highly recommend getting some kind of a chart minder, chart keeper, something. Knit Picks also has one as well. Another thing that works, depending on the size of your chart, is sticky notes. And I've done my share of those as well. If you use sticky notes, I recommend not putting it directly onto the paper. Get either the paper, the sleeves, the protective sleeves, or try and find a place that has restaurant menu covers. If you happen to be in the Denver metro area in Colorado, there's a place in Aurora called Cresco where you can pick those up for really reasonable prices. So then if you spill on it, your pattern's not lost. You don't have to print a new one. You just wipe it down, let it dry, and you're good to go. So that's some tips and tricks for chart reading. If you have anything else that I did not cover here, like I said before, please email me, make a comment here, let me know. I'd be happy to share what I know and learn more about what you would like to know and what you know. Hope that was helpful. Happy making!